give a moment of memory for the people that we have lost this last year.
Mike DeLuise Sr., Hall of Famer Burl Withers, Helen Tyrell, Calvin Hubert, Hall of Famer Ernest Marion, Joanne Perro, Lucille Moreau, Hall of Famer Fran Pedrera, William Figueroa, Al Garbarino, Nick Gassara, Anthony Mangiacina, George Fisher, Hall of Famer Alice Van Pelt, George Stillman, Harry Lundgren Sr., John Filipowitz, Stephen Kozel, Hall of Famer Loretta O'Connor, Edward Knook, and Vera Albans.
Okay, please remain standing. We want to propose a toast on behalf of everybody on the committee of the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame. We toast each and every one of you. We wish you health, wealth, happiness, and certainly the most important thing, time. Thank you all very much. You can please be seated and we'll start our festivities. We want to welcome everybody for our 13th annual Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. Right here at the luxurious Staten Rest. We have Joey G Video in the house with us tonight. This year we have 6 people that are going to be inducted. Some for their ability on the lanes, and some for their ability, what they do behind the scenes in a meritorious capacity. We want to tell everybody the purpose of a Hall of Fame. The purpose of the Hall of Fame has been established in the year 2000 to perpetuate the names of bowlers who have made an impact either on the lanes or behind the scenes, in some cases both, and they have made significant and outstanding contributions to the great game of bowling, our game, the great game of bowling. There's 3 things that we want to do with our Hall of Fame. Number 1, we want to preserve the past. That's all the pioneers, all the trailblazers, all the great people that were the leaders, the people that led the way to help us shape and advance this great game of bowling, to help it make it what it is today. We want to protect the present, all the population of bowlers contributing to the game of bowling, to give them an opportunity, a chance to perhaps someday be enshrined in the hallowed halls of our Hall of Fame. And number 3, we want to promote the future. Everybody here in this room tonight with us, everybody in this room, we are all ambassadors of this great game of bowling. It's a game that everybody loves. It's a game that has no prejudices. The game loves everybody. It is our job, individually and collectively, to be ambassadors. We are all role models, every one of us, to our next generation. We must teach and educate our young bowlers the dignity, integrity, and respect of the game that we all love. We have to teach them how to win with dignity and how to lose with grace. This is everyone's job, so please don't take that with you when you leave tonight. Everybody here is a bowler. We all love the game. And everybody here tonight, we must all promote our advancement of a game, the game of bowling. Now, as I look around the room tonight, I see a proverbial who's who in bowling. We have Ray Larson contributing every single year, has supported every single one of these events. Ray Larson has, thank you very much for your continued support. Frankie Wilkinson. And of course, I guess you can't help but notice that he's here, Mr. Johnny Petrago, who graces us with his presence every single year. Johnny, once again, thank you very much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to give us some time. You know, the Bowling Hall of Committee, as I said, was established in the year 2000. I just want to take a few minutes to introduce all the people on our committee that make this all possible, because without these committee members, there would be no Hall of Fame. So I'm going to say them in not necessarily in order of importance, because everybody serves a purpose and everybody that's on this committee does their job. So let's start with Mr. Joe Rebargo. Joe is our historian. He's the nuts and the bolts of this thing. He's getting all these older people that somehow got lost by the wayside, but he always finds them so that they can have their due. He has a real passion for the game, a real passion for what he does. Donna Zajac. Now Donna is committed to excellence and getting it right the first time. One of our newer members, Jimmy Garrity. Jimmy's been around for a very long period of time. His expertise and his experience is second to none, and he's certainly a welcome committee to our committee. Lou Vigliali. There she is. Lou has a terrific knowledge of the game and of the bowlers. And of course, our committee head, John Ed Chico, affectionately called Chico, he puts it all together. He has lots of experience, he knows the game, he knows the bowlers, and he knows what to do, when to do it at the right time to do it. Not necessarily in that order. And then of course, last and certainly least is myself, because all I find myself doing personally is talking. So please, committee members, please stand up and give the round of applause that you so deservedly need. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the late Chucky Curriaza, who was always in our hearts and our minds, and our spirit and our soul. He's well missed, and he will always be well loved. And of course, our Mr. Rab Wilkinson, who is always with us, and everything we say and do with the committee, we have Rab in mind. Okay, before we get on with our festivities, I just want to introduce Chico, our committee head, and he's going to just tell you some of the good things that the Staten Island Bowling Club has done for others. So please, round of applause to John O. Chico.
Hello everybody, and I want to give a big round of thank you everyone for attending this affair tonight. As you know, we moved the dinner from November to January because of the unfortunate circumstances of the hurricane that affected many, many people on Staten Island, and actually many people here. So I really want to put out a heartfelt thank you for everyone, because it was kind of difficult. I didn't want to I shouldn't say me, our committee, we didn't want to cancel the dinner, but it was so close to the date that we had picked out, and unfortunately there's a few people who couldn't make the event tonight, but we feel sadly in that behalf, but we got to go on, we got to stay strong. In Staten Island, the things that people done. But I just want to take like a minute right now to say that unbelievable job that the Wilkinson family and the Lorison family did at that bowling alley for all the people of Staten Island. I have never seen anything like that in my entire life. And to this day, every day that I go on Facebook, Naz, Frankie, Ray are asking somebody to come in station wagon, pull up, get me some stuff every day. And every time I look on Facebook, and I'm not really that IT-like and all that stuff, it's really unbelievable. So I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Ray, Naz, the Wilkinson family, Frankie, Tommy, Fran, Dee. It's just unbelievable what's going on here. I just want to let you know a little bit about, I was chosen to carry on the tradition of this from Rab Wilkinson, who was a personal friend of mine for many, many years. We spent a lot of quality time together. He's the president of this Hall of Fame, and he always will be the president. And none of us can fill his shoes. But what we can try to do is we can try to carry on the tradition that he set. And, we try our best. I want to just give you a little bit. We've taken on like some type of fundraising things also. So any monies that we take into the Hall of Fame, we try to also disperse. So we're like a nonprofit organization, and we've made donations also to Sandy victims and things like that. We made there was actually a Christmas party fundraiser here that one of our sponsors in our book put on, and we donated a lot of money towards that event. We've donated money towards the Steven Silva Foundation, and we just try to help and carry on the tradition like everyone else in Staten Island is doing. So just to give you a little background as far as that goes. Just a little thing on the side tonight. We had a little bit of a snafu with the seating arrangements. That's totally my fault. When I was in kindergarten, I messed up my seat like every time I was there, and they made me stand up till I was in the 3rd grade. So I'm tired, but I apologize for that. Also, what we added this year was, for the first time, something that hit home with me probably about 10 years ago, and being involved with the bowling alley and being this in my entire life. About 10 years ago, they used to carry on a tradition in the New York City PSAL. They used to have a big dinner for the top athletes in all the sports. There was like the Pegasus Award, the Wingate Award, and all that. And then all of a sudden, one year, they ran out of money. And at that time, my daughter had received an award, and I got a phone call from the commissioner. He told me, he says, John, he says, we're not having a dinner this year. So I asked him why. He said, no funds. So I tried to organize it with a couple of parents, and the PSAL wouldn't let me do it. And it just hit me wrong. So then I found out that the Staten Island Advance All-Stars weren't being honored at a dinner anymore. So as soon as we found that out, right away the committee, the first thing that went up is, well, you know what, we're going to take over. So I'm so happy to see 5, 6 tables of athletes here. You know, when I go down the bowling alley, I see all these people, and I tell you what, there's some tremendous bowlers here tonight. And everyone is so deserving. And the entire committee, plus myself and everybody in this room, is so happy. And I want to congratulate you all, and a big round of applause for all the Staten Island High School All-Stars. You really deserve it. Well, I don't really have much more to say, but if you want to hear a couple of jokes, all right, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Donnie Walters right now. And one other thing before I forget. When they read off all the names for the deceased, as far as people that aren't with us anymore, one of them was very, very close to myself. And I just want to take about 30 seconds to talk about Alice Van Pelt. When I was a young boy, I started working at Columbian Lanes like in the mid-60s. And I met this woman who was like full of life, full of joy, could not do enough for everybody. And then I started going down on Saturdays, and this woman was running, the PAL League with a fellow by the name of Gene Hurricane, who's also in the Hall of Fame. And this woman devoted 19 years of her time, and I just want to say that I miss her very much, and her family is here. And the thing was that when we nominated her and she became part of the Hall of Fame, she was the happiest person on earth. And a couple of people I know, because I have relatives and friends and stuff like that connected to the family, and whenever when I saw them, the first thing they mentioned was how happy Alice was. And I'm just sad tonight that she can't be here to receive the award, but the family is here, and I thank them very much. Okay, Donnie? We have a few minutes, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to honor the Jackson Smith Youth 300 Award winners, okay? So I'm going to turn over to Joe Lobargo. Another thing here, Joe's also an award winner tonight. It only cost him $500 to get nominated for it. I had a beautiful weekend at Latrobe with a couple of pro golfers. I try to play golf now, but I still don't know what I want to do.
Yeah. His bowling score and his golf score are about the same. So.
I didn't know Joe was a comedian.
He's not. He's applying for the job. He's applying for the job.
Okay, please give your attention to Joseph Labargo. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. For those who don't know who Jackson Smith was, in 1927, he was a 16-year-old student at Curtis High School, and there was a bowling alley on Clove Road where he bowled a 300 game. And when we found this out, we said right away, that's where we're going to go. We're going to have an award for the youths that bowled 300 games, because it's still a special award. And so ever since then, I think this is the 10th year we've been doing this, 10th or 11th year that we've been doing this. And this year there were 5 junior bowlers who accomplished this, and we'd like to honor them with awards. And Mr. Johnny Petraglia could come up. Johnny will show you. Who's here? Yeah. First one, Daniela Cafaro. No, I said that. It's a special award.
Well done, you know. Oh, wait, I didn't get that.
Michael Joyce. Kevin Buono. Robert DeSimone. And last but not least, 15 years old, he bowled this in the Staten Island PSAL Individuals. It's a very prestigious tournament. Jordan Leung. Okay. John.
written enough for 10 minutes. You want it less?
Whatever you feel comfortable.
Well, it's up to you.
10 minutes is fine.
You sure? Okay.
Let's have a nice big round of applause for the Jackson Smith Award winners. Just wanted to throw something out there. A few years back, I started bowling in a senior men's league. And believe it or not, on Tuesday mornings, a bunch of the guys get together at Rob's Country Lanes. And we probably have about 50 or 60 guys that come down and we bowl. We have really a great time. But I had a little bit of a problem tonight because one of the waitresses came over and told me that one of the guys, Jimmy, you cannot have more than one dinner tonight, all right? Jimmy Episcopia, we tried to give her a $10 bill, it didn't work. One dinner per person, Jim, that's all. Thank you. All right, I'm going to turn the microphone over to, we've actually become friends in the last couple of years. When I was growing up bowling, even though I'm a right-hander, this guy was truly my idol. Every Saturday when it was on ABC Sports, which we miss a lot, no matter what I had to do that day, I made it home to make sure I watched it, because we didn't have VCRs and videotape and all that stuff back in the day. And I really don't believe I missed any of his matches. So fortunately for me personally, John got on board with us a few years back, and I'm the happiest guy in the room right now. So without further ado, I would like to introduce PBA Hall of Famer Johnny Petrelli.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Let me slip that in here. You know what, I was going to talk for a few minutes tonight. It's really great to be back here. I wrote a couple of notes, and I was trying to come up with something light and funny because of the events of the last couple of months, and plus we have Pete Michaels here to make everybody laugh anyway. But before I do, I really figured I do have to say something about Hurricane Sandy. And what did I think about is this, Admiral William Bill Halsey said, quote, "There are no extraordinary people. There are only regular people that are put in extraordinary circumstances." Well, with all due respect to the Admiral, I guess he never met the people of Staten Island. And it was an extraordinary circumstance handled by extraordinary people. You should all give yourselves a round of applause. No doubt about it. Just a couple of things. I've talked here on a couple of issues in the past, and today I thought I might get a little bit personal and tell you a funny story from when I was a little bit younger. And I don't think most of you in the room have heard this one before. I get asked, when did I get into the sport of bowling? What made me get in the sport of bowling? When I was growing up in Brooklyn, there was a little 12-laner under a movie theater named Fortway Lanes. Yeah. Right on, okay. And Fortway, I started bowling there when I was 8 years old, but when I was 11, I got a job there. I would go there after school, and I would clean up and get ready for the leagues, and then get done about 5, and the owner would let me bowl. His name was Nick Murata. He would let me bowl from 5 to 6 for free, so I could bowl for 5 days a week and then bowl in the junior leagues on Saturday. And by the time I was 14, I wasn't a real good bowler yet or anything, but I was good in Fortway. I knew every board of every lane in Fortway. And there was a loan shark in the area named Sammy, and he had a bodyguard named Bobo. And Bobo looked exactly like Bobo was supposed to look. Okay? He sort of looked like Luca Brasi. And Sammy comes up to me one day. I was practicing, and he says, listen, kid, he says, I'm going to bring some people down here to bowl you. He says, and I'm putting up all the money, and everything I win, you get 10%, and if I lose, you don't lose a thing. Well, it doesn't get any better than that. And I said, okay. And a couple of weeks later, I'm hanging out with my friends on the corner, and the caddy pulls up, and Bobo gets out, and he says, get in, Sammy wants you. And I get in the caddy, we go to the lanes, we go down the stairs, I walk in, there's 3 guys there, I don't know who they are, maybe they're 30 years old. And I hear the one guy say, this is who you want me to bowl? And Sammy says, yeah. Because when I was 14, I still looked like I was 11. And the guy says, let's go. Now, an important part of this story, as we're warming up, my father made $63 a week. I distinctly remember that's how much he made at the time, because he would sit with my mother at the table, and they would, this money is for the rent, and this is for you to get back and forth to work, and so forth. And I had never to that point seen a $100 bill in my life. And as we get ready to start, Sammy says to the guy, what's the bet? And the guy says $1,000, and he throws 10 $100 bills on the table. And Sammy takes out this wad and he matches it. And now there's 20 $100 bills on the table. It's the first one I had ever seen. So as the match starts, I'm scared to death. I can't even get the ball off my hand. And I bowl terrible and I lose. And now my 14-year-old brain really takes over. I'm going, oh my God. I could see the Daily News, 14-year-old kid found behind the Fort Wayne Theater, bullet in his head, you know, this. And Sammy's walking over to me, and I'm going like, oh God, here it comes. And Sammy says, listen, kid, you're a lot better than this guy. You just got to relax. You'll beat him next game. And I said what is quite possibly the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life. I said, next game? You mean you have another $1,000? And he looked at me like I was nuts, and he said, there's going to be a lot more games. Just relax. Well, I tried to relax. I bowled pretty good the second game, and I lost by 5 pins. And immediately Sammy puts up the money for the third game, and I win the third game. And I lose the fourth game, but by now I'm completely comfortable, and I know it could be a marathon kind of day. We might be here all day. And I win the next 2 games, so we're dead even. And now I'm really into it, and I know how to play the pair, and everything is fine. And I bowl good the next 2 games, and I win, and the guy quits. And Sammy says, you did real good, kid. And he hands me 2 $100 bills. And he says to Bobo, he says, take him home, make sure he gets in the house. And Bobo drives me home, and I go upstairs, and I go in my room, and I sat on the bed, and I said, what do I do now? Because I don't even know how to break one. And if I did, I can't tell my parents where this came from or anybody else, because my parents are going to find out. What is this going to do me? Buy me an extra hamburger? You know. So I just took the 200 out of a little box. I put the $200 bills in the drawer. And this is for the kids here, because we're all kids. You know, a couple of years go by. I bowled a few more matches. I had about $1,000 in this box. I had finally gotten Bobo and Sammy to break one of the $100 bills, so I had $10 in my pocket or something. But I was bowling in a Wednesday night league in Fort Wayne. It was a terrific league, and they had pot games after the league that would go to like 3 o'clock in the morning. And you can make a lot of money in the pots, so I'm sticking around bowling in the pots, and I come home, and after a couple of weeks, when my parents eventually woke up and found out I wasn't in the house yet, then they said that if you don't come home right after the league, you're not allowed to bowl in that league anymore. You're barred from the league. And what am I going to do? So I came up with this idea, and I took one of the $100 bills and I stuck it in the sugar bowl. And then when my mother went to get the sugar bowl down to pay the rent, the $100 bill was in there. And she said, what is this? And I said, that's from me. I figured I'm getting old enough, every once in a while I should help pay the bills for the house. And they went, but where did you get it? I said, oh, I got it bowling the pots on Wednesday night. Okay, it's not good to lie to your parents, but every once in a while. All right. People have asked about Mark Roth, and I want to tell you one little quick thing about Mark Roth. We know he had a stroke, but with his crotchety attitude, you know, he's been coming back. He walks with a cane. He's doing fairly well. And he and his wife bought an 8-lane bowling center in upstate New York, about 30 miles from Syracuse. There's an apartment above it that they live in, so Mark, even though he can't get around too well, is doing okay. Then Mark came up with this idea. He has only 8 lanes. So he said, rather than naming the lanes as they were renovating 1 through 8, I'm going to name the lanes so that when somebody wants a lane, you go to that person's name. So like lane 1 is Lane Dave Davis, and lane 2 is Dave Sutar, and lane 3 is myself, and lane 4 is Parker, and lane 5 is Mark Roth, and lane 6 is Marshall Holman, and lane 7 is Pete Weber. Lane 8, he asked Walter Ray Williams for lane 8, and Walter Ray waffled about giving him his name. Like he sort of felt fine. I don't know if I want to give my name out to be put on a masking unit or anything like that. And he decided, I don't know, I'll let you know. So in the meantime, you know Mark. And Mark said, well, the hell, I'm not gonna, I'll be nice, what the hell with him. I'll get somebody else for lane 8. And what he did is he named lane 8 Roy Munson, which is the guy from Kingpin whose hand comes off, so that's, so Walter Ray Williams has been replaced by a guy with no hands. So it's just, I wanted to mention something about our sport. Our sport, for me, is the best sport there is. And personally, I think it's the best sport for exactly the reasons that other people don't consider it a sport. In our sport, sex or stature means absolutely nothing. In other sports, you could be the greatest lineman that ever lived. But if you're 5'10" and you weigh 180 pounds, you're not going to be a lineman in the NFL. You could be the greatest jockey that ever lived. And if you're 5'10" and 180 pounds, you're not running in the Kentucky Derby. You're not riding a horse. And in all other sports, you have help, you get a little bit of special treatment if you know the coach, how well you did in the combine. If you've been in baseball a little while, you get that pitch that's 2 inches off the plate because of who you are. That doesn't exist in our sport. If LeBron James bowls 200 and Miss Nobody at 5'2" bowls 201, she wins. LeBron loses. Doesn't matter who you are, and that's what makes our sport so special. That's what makes our sport so great, because the sport is determined purely on talent and nothing else physical in the game. And please, as you go forward, be proud of the sport that we have, because it's the best one that there is. Finally, to all of the inductees tonight, congratulations, and remember that all Hall of Fames are very important, both local and national. It's what recognizes you for your body of work for a lifetime. And when you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, just like tonight when they spoke of the deceased, that is always in front of your name. It can never be taken away. Hall of Famer, and that's your name. Congratulations to all of you, and to the kids from the PSAL, the 300 games, and the kids that made it. You're our future. Keep us going. And I'll be around to help you out. Thanks very much. Enjoy the meal.
Mr. Pete Michaels.
Thank you so much. Big round of applause for Donnie, come on. Yes. First of all, congratulations to the PSL people. Give these kids a big hand. Let me tell you something. That's the future of the game right there. Unbelievable. It's good to be home, I gotta tell you that. I've been traveling around a lot, and it's good to be back home in beautiful Staten Island. Yeah, I did say stagnant, that's right. Born and raised here. How many people were born and raised on Staten Island? Make some noise. Make some noise. So don't put your hands up. It looks like a hold up and don't blame me. Don't do that. many people are not from Staten Island? Applaud if you're not from Staten Island. Good. You take Bay Street to Capodanno to the bridge. And you have to pay $100 to come back by the time that works. But it's good to be back home. I am a West Brighton boy, born and raised, and still living in West Brighton. Still living in the West. That's right. 5 minutes from home. I rolled out of bed and got here. It's great. Right now I'd like to roll back into bed. No. Before the cold weather starts. Are we spoiled or not with this weather? Yeah, 50 degrees. You go outside tonight, your nipples are going to fall off. Trust me when I tell you. They're like pencil erasers on the floor. Thank you, Patty. You know, it's funny. I did perform in this very room. I mean, but one of the first shows I ever did, the first gigs I ever did, was at a small place in Brooklyn, of all places. Small place in Brooklyn. And it was owned by this guy named Sammy. And he had a manager named Bobo. And there was some guy running around in bowling shoes all the time. I thought he was a little mental fruta, but what are you going to do? But he grew up and, no, I never worked that place because my nose is straight right now, as opposed to some people sitting at my table. Don't go roll too loud with that tie, my friend, okay? But I started as a ventriloquist. Actually, I went to Mount Carmel Grammar School, right down the road there. Any Mount Carmel alumni in the house here tonight? Yeah. Yeah, we're having a big reunion. I don't know if you know about it. 25 years of the grades. I think it's from 1960 to 1995 or something like that. It's on Facebook. And I'm going to go just to see how old everybody else got. So I'm not the only one, you know. I'm going to go, hey, who the hell are you? Give me a name tag. But when I went to Mount Carmel, that's when I started with this crazy comedy stuff. And the ventriloquism actually started when I was in grammar school. We had the nuns. Remember nuns back in the days? Sister Mildred. Sister Mildred, that's right. Who had Sister Mildred? Anybody else have Sister Mildred? Yeah, you can't even raise your hands because the pins in your shoulders will slip right out. Yeah. Yeah, boy, she was something else. She would just beat you to see that look on your face. But anyway, they used to have that intercom speaker up on the wall that went to the principal's office. And I got so good at this ventriloquism stuff when I was younger that I could actually throw my voice up into that speaker and call myself out of class and just go home. Which was all well and good until Sister Mildred called my mother before I got there, and my mother, the Sicilian, was waiting with 2 wooden spoons. For those non-Italians out there, we do not stir with wooden spoons. We beat our children. What they're made for. And as an adult, I got jammed up with the ventriloquism. I really did. I got one jam up when I was an adult. And as a result of that one incident, I am no longer allowed to attend closed casket wakes. I'll wait. I'll wait. Some of you are explaining it to each other. The box is closed. They thought the guy was still alive. But as a ventriloquist, you become a mimic of sorts, and that's what I did. And I watched a lot of TV as a kid growing up. Now, is it me? How many of you people feel? Applaud if you would think that the television shows we had back in the day were better than the stuff that's on today. Like this whole table back there is like Mount Rushmore. Look at this. No, the kiddie table over there with the pink hair. This whole table back there is like. Don't get mad. You walked out of the house with that hair. You know somebody's going to look at you and say, hello, how are you? But it's true. Back then, we didn't have as many choices as we got today. Today, you got 8 bazillion channels of what? Nothing on. Now, let me ask the ladies in the house here. Ladies, how many of you men sit there with the remote control, because we both got the remote. You know that, right? Sit there with that remote night after night like this. Come on, ladies. I'm not the only guy that does this. We got a fast button on my remote. I drive my wife crazy. I sit there like this. And she's on the couch. Stop on something! All right, Playboy, what do you want? She got in one day. She took the batteries out of the remote. Yeah, laugh. It took me 10 minutes to figure this out. I'm sitting in the living room like this. Now she's on the phone with her sister. Lori, get over here. Yeah, look, no, come over here. Now I took the batteries out of the remote. This idiot hasn't figured it out yet. No, wait, hold on. He's on the other phone. He's calling Verizon. He's calling Time Warner. He's calling Dish Network. What an idiot. No, listen, do me a favor. You can't make it. I'm taping it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm going to put it on YouTube. It's going to go viral tomorrow. Trust me. Yeah. Type in ass, remote control. My husband's going to show up. Trust me. God even with me. But back in the day, we didn't have what we got today. What do we have back in the day in New York City? What do we have? We had channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, which was PBS, and if you had a coat hanger, the Puerto Rican channels. Right? And that's where the wrestling was, right? Guys, remember Friday, Saturday night, 41, 47? Lucha Libre! Oh, now you all woke up. Every Friday and Saturday, me and my father, God rest his soul, we turned on 41-47, and then the announcer would come on, and I didn't understand a word he said until he got to the wrestlers' names, right? He would go, Bruno Sammartino! Right? Then when he got older, Randy Macho Man Savage! Right? Then later on, Hogan! What? Hogan! What? My father from the kitchen. Hogan, you idiot! And then they would take our commercials and dub them in Spanish. That freaked me out first time I ever saw that. Because my dad was in the kitchen one year getting some chips and soda or whatever, and I see this very familiar breakfast cereal commercial with the little cartoon character, and I recognize him right away. He's on TV, and he's leaping all across the screen, and he's going, ¿Dónde está mi Lucky Charms? Dad, get in there quick. What? It's a Puerto Rican leprechaun. His name is Lukey. He's talking about hearts, moons, stars, and cuchiplitos. What the hell is that? But it's all changed, right? What, the TV shows have even gotten worse. Am I right? Or what's the most popular type of show that's on TV today? Yeah. How many of you are sick and tired of this nonsense now, reality shows? Yes? If you're not clapping, you need to get a life. Trust me, okay? Get out of the house. This is a good start, getting out of the house. No, my wife started with these years ago. They had this one on, and in my estimation, you know, back in the day, in order to get a TV show, you had to have talent. You had to sing, dance, tell jokes, act, something, right? Not so into me. She watched this one that was on years ago, John and Kate plus 8. Anybody remember this stupid show? John and Kate plus 8. Where's the talent here? Oh, couldn't keep the knees together 10 minutes. Give her a TV show. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. I'm working to the big people now. Help me, folks, all right? Don't sit there like this is a Holy Name Society dinner, because it ain't. Well, then she started with this other one, the deadliest catch. The guys on the boats in Alaska, right? I catch crabs. I got a TV show. I caught crabs once. Where's my TV show? Well, I got with some shampoo and a comb. I didn't get no show out of the deal. Then she got this other one she started watching, and I couldn't even stand this. I saw the coming attractions. That was enough to turn me off. Swamp People. Swamp People. Has it come to this? I'm watching the coming attractions, and it says, on the premiere episode of Swamp People, JR tells Jed, we're going to make other people for the day. What? What did this man just say? There wasn't even subtitles. And when we return, Jed tells JR, you don't bring down with that shoot it. I don't know about you people, but I cannot get into a television show where teeth are an option. Doesn't work for me. But back in the day, we had variety shows. That's where I learned all of this comedy stuff. And there was a show that used to be on every Sunday night at 8 o'clock on Channel 2, and the guy's name was what? Who remembers Ed Sullivan? Applause if you remember Ed Sullivan. Ed Sullivan. Same table, same reaction. Nothing. Okay. That's your YouTube assignment, kiddies. But Ed Sullivan was on the end. Anybody who was somebody got their start on the Sullivan Show or appeared on the Sullivan Show. Case in point, Elvis, Sullivan Show. Beatles, Sullivan Show. Rolling Stones, Temptations, Four Tops, Supremes, Stevie Wonder, George Carlin worked clean on the Sullivan Show. Richard Pryor worked clean on the Sullivan Show. Bill Cosby, always clean on the Sullivan Show. And one of my favorite are what they call the old school comics, and he's still around, God bless him, a fellow by the name of Jerry Lewis. Any Jerry Lewis fans out here? The old Jerry Lewis movies? Yeah. That's right. Wayne! Yeah. Jerry made a lot of comedy movies. One of my favorites was a movie called Who's Minding the Store? And in this movie, he plays a store clerk in a big department store. They turn him loose, and all hell breaks loose. So, before I bring the little people out, I would like to do a tribute right now to one of my favorite comics of forever. And you might recognize his bit. I found out, actually talking to Jerry's relatives, that of all the things he's done in his movies, this was his particular favorite, personal favorite. So I hope you recognize it. It's a little something that Jerry called the typewriter. Thanks so much. Now, like I said, back in school, I got started as a ventriloquist, and people always say, you know, there aren't that many of us doing it anymore, and how did it get started? And it started when I was a kid. I was an only child. Anybody else here an only child? Only children here? Okay. So you know what it is. Being an only child for me was a very lonely life. I don't know about you, but it was a lonely life for me growing up as an only child. In fact, I had nothing to play with until I was about 13. Just found the level of this room, finally. Took long enough. At 13, that's when I discovered my first puppet. Yeah. And I called him Squirt. But anyway, well, he was small, okay? Don't go there. But I brought some friends of mine with me here. The first guy I want to bring out, he hasn't been here before. This is his first time here at the wonderful Staten. And all I can say is he is the son that I'm glad I never had. A big round of applause from Brooklyn, New York. Give it up for my man, Buddy. Buddy, come on out and say hello. Buddy. How you doing, Lee? Forget about it. How you doing over there? Oh, how you doing over there? All right, buddy, nice to have you out here. Nice to be here. Where the hell are we? Don't you know I've been watching that damn trunk over there. I don't know where the hell I'm at. All right, we're here in Staten Island. Where? Staten Island. Good night. No, come on, stop. This is where I live. It's where you live. I don't want to live here. It's a dump. Whoa, the dump is closed. It could get you. Hey, get your good side. Hold on, Chief. Hey, cameraman. Hey. You. Who the hell is working his head? Come on, get the good side. You missed it. Come on. What's your name?
Louis.
What's it?
Louis.
How you doing, Louis? What up, buddy? Get the good side on 3. What the?
That was the good side.
No, this I know what my good side is, Louis. Okay.
All right.
On 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sucker. Do you know where we are? We're at the Staten restaurant. The Staten restaurant. Yeah. It's owned by Italians. Oh, the Bresci family, I think they're Italian. Yeah. Any Italians out here? Where's the Italians? We're next to Noah's. Italians out here. Yeah. And the Sicilians are in the house too. How are you? Nice to know you. Listen, I brought you out here. I don't need you. What? I don't need you. I'm not gonna do what I gotta do. Okay. Nice joint. Yes, it's a very nice place. What is this occasion here? This is the Staten Island Bowling Club. No kidding. Yeah. Bowling? Yeah. Do you bowl? Huh? Do you bowl? Oh, hell no. Sissy sport. Excuse me? Sissy sport. Bowling is a sissy sport. Is there echo in here? Yeah, sissy sport. What do? Bocce. Now that is a man's game. Why is bocce more manly than bowling? Oh, come on, bowling. You stick your fingers in the hole. Don't go there. You throw the ball down this greased alley. It slides all over the place. It knocks down some pins. What these three can do? What, bocce takes any more skill? Sure it does. You take a ball, right? And you throw it down the thing there. The court, right. We don't have alleys, we got dirt. Because we're poor. Okay, yeah. You throw it in the dirt, right? It's got to hit the little ballie. Right. What happens if it hits the little ballie? I run. No. If it hits the little ball, right, you have to get as close as you can. That's it, you get as close as you can, right? And when you win a bottle of wine. When you win bowling tournament, what do you win? Nothing. What do you win? A trophy? You can't drink a trophy. Who the hell can earn a living at bowling? Show me one person in this room that can earn a goddamn living at throwing a ball down a sissy bowling lane and making money. Who is he? Where? He ain't even here. See? Look, nobody. Not one person in the room. Not, what are you telling me? No, I'm on a roll here. No, there's a person that, shut up, there's nobody makes it. Who's your kid? He could do that. Nobody makes, excuse me, what? We have a gentleman in the room here tonight that's a professional bowler. Oh, really? Yeah. One person in the whole room. One person out of how many people in this room? One person makes the whole thing. Hey, it's John. Yeah, that's my friend John. You got friends? Yeah. You talk to dolls, you sissy ass. You got friends. Your best friend is your right hand. All right, knock it off. Listen to me. I know John. How you doing, John? That's John. You know John? John, yeah. He's got the last name. Sounds like somebody sneezing. What? There's Nico! All right, come on, stop it. John, we go back a long way. Yeah, right to Mount Carmel. Oh, Sister Mildred. Yeah. Oh, jeez. No wonder you guys limp when you walk. Yeah, all right, yeah. So he's running this thing with oh, I know that's Donnie. How you doing, Donnie? I used to go bowling down your house. Well, I didn't go bowling down there. I just hung out to the chicks. You know those easy chicks all hang out at the bowling alleys. You know that. Those waitresses. You know what I'm saying? Hey, baby, how you doing? Hi, honey. How are you? Those are the waitresses? No, that was Donnie. Oh, come on, stop now. Right. Listen, I got another guy I'm bringing out. No, I'm not going back in that trunk. The trunk stinks. There's no letter new, so I ain't going in that trunk. Not happening. Really. No. I gotta find a date. There's nobody out here for you. I'm gonna find a date. Where am I find a date? Gotta be a girl in some place. Some single girl somewhere. Oh, look at the chick in the back. What chick in the back? The one texting right now. Busted. She's hot. You think so? Yeah. What is your name, darling? You're so pretty. What is your name with the lovely hair? What is your name? What is it? Mayonnaise? What? Mayonnaise? Yell it out, dear. Mayonnaise. Yeah. Okay. Well, you never know. You asked, you got it. I didn't get it yet. I'm working on it. Okay, stop it now. She probably has a husband or a boyfriend or somebody. You got a husband or a boyfriend there, darling?
I want to hear my grandfather who's being in the Hall of Fame.
Your grandfather's in the Hall of Fame? Oh.
Tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight.
Hey, Granddad, how you doing? Granddad?
How are you?
Okay, good. See, there's a delay when you get that age. It takes a little while for the sound to get over there. You know how it is, Donnie, don't you? Yeah, Donnie, yeah. Donnie thought this thing was yesterday. He came early, so it's okay. I'm glad he's still here. All right. Listen, I got to put you back in the trunk. I got another guy I got to bring out. Oh, I got to go back in the trunk? Yeah. Oh, damn. Stuck in the trunk again. Sucks. You get to come out and have fun. I got to go back in that stinking trunk. Alone. Mayonnaise? It's not going to happen, okay? I don't care. I don't know if you got a boyfriend or not, but just remember one thing, darling. I love your hair. I do. I really do. I'm not making fun. I dig it. I like it. I think it's hot. And if you ain't got a boyfriend, I got everything you could ever want in a man. Really? Yeah. And if I ain't got it, I can nail it on. Nah! Buddy, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my man Buddy one time. Thank you, Buddy. All right. This next guy I want to bring out right now, let me play Buddy music out here. Oh, okay, hold on. This next guy I want to bring, shut up with that already. This next guy I'm going to bring out right now, he's a retired gentleman, and he's here tonight, and he's never been here before either, so we figured we'd bring some new people out to meet you guys. He's a native Staten Islander, of all things, and bring out a big hand, and his name is Gus. Gus, come on out and say hello. Gussie! Whenever I can get Gus's music to stop. That's not it. That's Gus' music. All right, come on, Gus. Give it up for Gus. Just sit down here, relax a little bit, fold your legs and relax. Yeah, nice to be. How you doing? Hold on a second. You're knocking me off the goddamn thing here. Hold on a second. All right, sorry, Gus. All right, look around. Let me know what you think. How you doing? Nice to be here. How are you all? How you doing there? Oh, jeez. Oh, come on. Hey, Donnie, how you doing, old man? Long time no see. Jeez, there. We grew up together. You and Donnie? Yeah. We used to steal chickens. Back in the old days. You still running the bowling alley? You doing? That's good, Donnie. Yeah. What a set of balls. Large ones, yeah. Black too. All right, yeah. With holes in them. I know that, okay? Now, Gus, you are a retired gentleman, right? Retired what? No, retired. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Talk a little louder there, kid. All right, okay. Now, what did you do when you worked, huh? What did you do when you worked? I worked for the city of New York. Really? Yeah. In what capacity? About 60 tons a day. What did you do? Sanitation. Nobody? Oh, thank you. Yeah. Sanitation. Yeah. It's a rewarding career, wasn't it? Same as this. It said here, I'm dishing it out. Good to be here tonight. Yeah. So now what do you do that you're retired? Huh? What do you do that you're retired? I got a part-time job. Really? Yeah, Social Security don't pay enough. Pension sucks. What do you do now that you're retired? Huh? What do you do now that you're retired? You work part-time? Yeah. What do you do? School bus driver. How's that working out? Not so good. I just started 2 weeks ago, son of a bitch. Yeah, so I guess you're walking the picket line, huh? Walking the picket line? I can't even sit in the picket line. Too damn cold out there. I'm too old for this stuff. Yeah. What run did you drive? Kids, really? Yeah, kids. Yeah. That's, most school buses have kids on them. I know that. Okay, I'm just testing you. Good. Okay, you drive here on Staten Island? Yeah. Well, can you tell us which company you work for? It's one of the ones on the island here. Good. Can you tell us which one? No. Why? Because I don't want to get shot. Okay. Well, we only have a few out here. Yeah. Well, don't start naming them because me and Chico work for the same outfit, and I don't want to talk about it. He's wanting, Gussie, you come to the picket line? You come to the strike? No, Chico, I ain't coming to the damn strike, okay? I'm watching Oprah. Leave me alone. You don't watch those kind of shows. Oh, I do. I watch Lifetime, all that crap. Really? Yeah, I like Oprah. Did you see Oprah interview Lance Armstrong? Did you see that? Yeah. He didn't have a ball to tell her no. All right, come on, let's stop it. Listen, we're not going there tonight. Okay? I'm glad you dressed for the occasion. You said it was a party. This is my party outfit, baby. This is it. Man, I'm dressed to kill. I think you just killed it. Thank you, darling. I love you too. All right, yeah. All right, listen, let's talk about bowling. Since were you ever a bowler? Oh, yeah. I used to bowl down there, what do you call it, the KC there in Clove Road? Really? Colombian? Yeah. How long ago was that? A long time ago. Really? Yeah. Gallon of gas was a nickel. Right, Donnie? Used to see Donnie during the war. He used to siphon gas. Boy, did you suck. Tell me about your bowling game. What was your best week in bowling? Oh, man. Did you ever bowl 300? Oh, lots of times. You really? Yeah. 6 times in 1 week? You bowled 306 times in 1 week. Yeah, 150 one day, 150 another day, another day. Did you ever win any awards? Huh? Did you ever win any awards? Yeah, what? Biggest loser. Yeah. Why can't I picture that? Yeah. But it's good coming out here tonight, seeing all these kids. Look at all these kids bowl. They all bowl perfect games. Yeah, 300 games over there. Wow. Yeah, when I was 15 years old, I was stealing stuff. Now you guys are bowling. It's great. Well, they have parents that are behind them 100%. Yeah, what's behind me? Oh, your other hand. By the way, you got a hangnail up there that's ripping me to shreds. I just want to tell you that, okay? When you get home, get the clipper. Either that or put on a glove. All right, come on, stop. All right, listen, Gussie, I got to move on because we're really pressed for time here tonight. Oh, sure. Stick me back in the trunk with the kid from Brooklyn. I can't stand this buddy. Always, yeah, Staten Island sucks. Staten Island sucks. Staten Island rocks. Is that what they say today? Yeah, rocks. Yeah. The Staten Island rock, yes or no? Yeah. All right, so now what? Obviously, you're not doing anything tomorrow, right? No, tomorrow's Martin Luther King Day. That's right, yeah. And what are you going Tuesday? What are you going to be doing Tuesday? Well, me and Chico are going to hang out for a while. Yeah, down the yard. Yeah. Try to take out a few matrons. You know, that's how you do it down there. You know. Yeah, how you doing, baby? Want to look at my run? Oh, come on, stop. Give it up for my friend Gussie. Gussie, say hello. All right, thank you so much. Gussie! Wait a minute, I ain't done yet. Yes, you are. Now, before I leave you people, I don't always work with puppets, thankfully, or they lock me up in a home somewhere, which they should have done years ago anyway. Sometimes I get to work with like real human being type people. So I'm going to ask for a male and a female volunteer to come up and help me close my particular portion of the show. Oh, look, he's right there. Isn't that amazing? His hand's shot right up in the air. Come on up here and bring your lovely lady with you too. I don't want you to be lonely up here. Come on up. Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you're coming up. Because if he's coming up, you got to come up. Otherwise, I got to find a humana for him to come up here with. Give a nice round of applause, everybody. Stand over here, right over there. And let me talk to the young lady over here. You can stand right over on this side over here. Don't worry, the puppets are away. You're safe. Now, we sat together last year, did we not? Yes, okay. And what is your name again? Fran and? Fran and Frank, that's right. You don't even have to change the monograms on the luggage. That's great. Sister-in-law. Okay, that works at Midland Beach. All right, now. Only a native islander would know what I'm talking about. The rest of you are sitting there, that's not nice. No, go down there about 45 years ago. Ah, this is my sister, wife, brother-in-law. All right. Oh, you're bad, Donnie. Yes, I know. I used to patrol that area in the past life. All right, we're going to have some fun with you guys. And what I'm going to get you not to do anything but stand here and look good. You got it going on, color coordinated. Sears had a sale. I don't know. Don't laugh, that's where this shit came from, okay? All right, now, what I need you guys to do is move in real close to the microphone stand just like this. Now, just do an about face, turn the opposite way. That's it, turn around, it's okay. Turn around, it's not a butt judging competition, don't worry, because she wins, trust me, okay? Although Petraglia has been checking you out all night, I don't know what that means. I know, Johnny, it's lonely on the road. All right, I have something for each one of you. As always, it's the ladies first, because that's how my dad raised me. God rest his soul, he was a good fella. He wasn't a good fella, he was a nice guy, trust me on that. All right. Don't be embarrassed, because I sure as hell won't. I'm just going to slip this right on, I promise. No, it's okay. I wash these once a week, and tomorrow's the day. Just make sure you can see it.
Make sure it's germaphobe.
No, they're clean. Okay? Okay. Just relax. Don't turn around. Laugh it up. Oh, you need to take those off. Yeah, there you go. That's my... You got some moose in that hair, boy. Lord, have mercy. If we were further up north, there'd be an elk very excited at this point. Okay, can you see out of it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, very good. Folks, we're going to turn back the hands of time to the year 1972. Some of you weren't born yet, but you're in for a rare treat. We're going to reunite the most famous husband and wife musical comedy team that ever worked together. You guys, when you hear your music, turn around, look straight ahead of the audience. I'll do the work. You get the applause. Hopefully the music works, and we'll do this thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye, Gussie. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are for the first time reunited on this running stage. Look right out there and see it. Here we go. All right, all right. They sail short and I don't know. Wonder if you're ever gonna grow. Well, I don't know if all that's true, but you have me and everyone's had you. Babe, I had you, babe. Donnie had you, babe. Right out there. They say old talent won't pay rent before it's earned. Your money's all been spent. Well, I guess that's so. We don't have no pot, what? But at least I'm sure of all the other drugs we got. Hey! I had you, babe. That's why I left you, babe. I've got flowers. Everybody say, aww. In the spring, a little bit louder now. Aww. And I taught Cher one last time. Aww. How to sing. All right, Cher, work it, baby. When I was sad, you were around. When I needed a man, you were never around. Don't let them say your big name's too long. Watch it. I don't care whether you are can't do wrong. Well, just put your skinny ass next to mine. You got guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you for being such good sports. God bless you and good night. My name is Pete Michaels. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to see more, we do have a DVD for sale over here. We had a couple, and see me after the show. I'll be happy to autograph a copy for you, and because I need gas money for this week. All right. Thanks. God bless.
How about Pete Michaels? Give it up for Pete Michaels! Don't forget, for people, we've got an array of DVDs up here if you're interested. We've got them available tonight. Make sure you check with them before you leave. Thank you, Petey. You're better every year for us. Thank you so much for being here.
Older every year.
Okay, now comes the moment that everybody has been waiting for. We're going to start with our induction ceremony of this year's class, the 2013 Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame. And to lead the festivities off is a man that I could say I had the pleasure of bowling with in my Sunday morning league. He's a consummate gentleman. He started working as a pin boy in Brown's Coliseum as a young boy. He led McKee High School to a citywide bowling championship in the early 1950s, when there was competition from all 5 boroughs. It wasn't just relegated to Staten Island. He had a citywide average 2 times during his high school bowling career. And he bowled the first sanctioned 800 series with the Tuesday morning Senior Men's League at Country Lanes. He bowled 2 300 games in the same week during the same year. Again, he's a man that I've had enjoyment bowling with and against on my Sunday morning league. He's what I would call a friendly adversary. He's very tough and very competitive on the lanes, but he's also very cordial if you should be fortunate enough to beat him. So this year's first inductee for our Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame, give it up for Ray Keller.
Thank you. Wait till you hear this. About maybe 2 or 3 months ago, my wife was sitting on a couch and she was knitting, and I'm watching TV, and she says, "I think I heard the mailman outside. You want to go out and get the mail?" So me being a little hearing impaired, I didn't hear her. She brings out this long cardboard roller, and she put it right to my ear. She says, "Go out and get the mail." In doing that, when I went out and got the mail, my next door neighbor went out at the same time I did. And he said, "Tell your wife, thanks for letting me know that the mail was out here." I brought the mail in, and I put it down next to her. And she always tells me what's in the mail if I ask her. And she picks up this envelope, and she opens it and looks at it. She doesn't say anything. She had a broad smile on her face. She says, "You know, finally, after being married to you for 53 years, I'm getting rid of you. You're going into some kind of a hall." I said, "What the hell are you talking about?" I said, "Let me go read that thing." And it was, "Congratulations, you're going into the Bowling Hall of Fame." Wiped the smile right off her face. And that being said, I'd like to thank the committee for this great honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray Keller. Okay, our next inductee. I'm going to ask his son to come up and present him, but I'm going to tell you a little story about him before I do that. Once again, I had the pleasure of bowling with this guy many, many years ago when I was a lot younger and I had a little more hair. But again, like all of our inductees, there is certain criteria that you must adhere to before you're even considered to be admitted into the hallowed halls of our Hall of Fame. This man touched all the bases. He's a consummate gentleman, on and off the lanes, very cordial, and not a bad little bowler either. Right now, he's working with the kids, and I'm going to ask his son, Tony Jr., to come up and present him this year's award for his induction to our Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much, Don. No problem. It looks like there's a lot. I just write big because I can't see much anymore. First, I would like to thank the committee for considering the nomination and the acceptance of the induction of Tony Ciarfolletti Sr. into the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame. We have the same name because it's my father. And just to give you, I'll give you a quick rundown. He started as a pin setter at 15 years old. He started bowling at 16. He met Annie, who turned out to be his wife, at 18. Quit bowling at 19 on an Easter Sunday because he couldn't take bowling anymore. They got married at 20 in June, and at 20 in October, he ended up in Korea. He went into the service, putting bowling on the back burner for a long time. Out of nowhere, he decided to have us start bowling again. Now, he had to be at least 8 years old back then because there was insurance regulations with the bowling. And so I was able to start bowling, but not my brother, so he had to sit on the bench a little bit. So he came down, he started, all of a sudden he realized somebody's got to keep score. So he's sitting there. Kids are running around all over the place. Somebody had to start teaching them how to bowl. And that was at Big 10 Lanes down in Stapleton, down on Broad Street. Beach Street, that's it. I was young then, what do you want?
What friends you have, Tony?
Not many. In '63, he started bowling all by himself. He started with the Rosebank Cardinal League down in Colonial Lanes. And from there, all of a sudden, bowling became part of his life again. The bowling house had burned down at Big 10. They combined the Stapleton AC with the boys and the girls together. All of a sudden, he found himself going from side to side, coaching the girls on one side, coaching the boys on the other side. And a good story for you, if you're a kid and you don't want to listen to your father about how to bowl, he's standing there and he's telling me what shot I should be showing. The last frame, Joe Embargo walks by and he's listening in, because we all bowl together. Joey walks by, he listens. I'm not doing what he asked me to do.
But he is.
I threw a pocket ball, left a split. Joey walks up there, 1, 2, 3, all on that same line that I was supposed to be using, and beat us for the game. All right, so that got me a little bit riled up. I couldn't. Then I decided I'll start listening again. In the '70s, we went down to bowl with Miss Doctor. We left Stapleton ACs, and there he met Jerry Lodge, which he became very good friends with along the way. We had a lot of laughs with Jerry, and then in the future, later on, not only did I bowl my father, who was one of my coaches, I ended up with Jerry Lons on the same team as one of my coaches. So if you're going to really be tortured in life, bowl with your coaches in the men's leagues too. And in the '70s, later '70s, he worked with New York High School, the girls bowling team, with my sister Donna. He was a guy who never had a big ego. A lot of you know my brother Danny, he went into the pros, and he had told him, listen, I helped you get to 200. He says, I really can't teach you anymore. You have to find advice from the next coach up to show you how to get into that major or the pro kind of thinking in life. And he stepped down, and all he would go do is go to the tournaments to sit back and watch. Highlights of his career, he, in 2000, my son Anthony, he went to Syracuse, and he got a chance to bowl with his grandson in the adult child tournament up there. Moving to Ohio, he worked with his grandson Brian out there at the high school level. Currently at 82, he bowls 3 times a week. He averages 198, 197, and 202 in 3 different leagues. And he's having a great time. Also, part of his dealings out there, this is the only thing he'll give up bowling for. He belongs with the VFW Hall. He's the assistant commander. And he's part of the 21 gun salute that he does the funerals with. And he loves doing that. He'll give up his bowling to do that. And Dad, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Come on up. So you don't look like a lot of papers. He looks like he walks slow. Watch him on the bowling alley. Here you go, have fun.
Thank you, Anthony. You guys call him Tony, I call him Anthony. That was his given name. When I was overseas in Korea, my wife did a lot of praying, and she prayed to St. Anthony that if you bring my husband back home safe, our firstborn child will be named Anthony. And God gave us a boy, we named him Anthony, and he's made me awfully proud. And I want to thank him very much for putting in the nomination for me. And I want to thank the committee for allowing me to be inducted. Where the hell were you guys 10 years ago? I'm waiting in Ohio. I'm waiting for the phone call. No call, okay. So it's quite an honor you guys have bestowed on me, and it was very proud and it was very exciting, and I just love working with children. And you know, you're watching them bowl and you say, these kids have a lot of potential, but they need to be taught. In our days, it wasn't coaching, it was teaching. Right, Nazareth? That's one of my good pupils. And I'm so proud that many of the kids that I happen to be teaching along, and they just proceeded to get better and better every year, and many of them are in the Hall of Fame, and I feel that I've played a little part in these people progressing and enhancing their bowling skills, and they are now in the Hall of Fame, which makes me proud. Of course, in my lifetime, I had the greatest pleasure to know people like Pat Esposito and Ruth Doctor, Jerry Lons, and Ray Pellegrino, Elise Illich, and Al Donatorna, and I forget Magavella's first name. But we used to go down to the bowling alley, and in those days, we used to keep score with paper and pencil. Maybe some of you guys don't know what it was, but it was easy to do. And I sat there and I watched, and if I seen some children kind of doing things a little wrong, just walk down the line and carefully instruct them. You're not reaching out far enough, you're walking too fast to the foul line. And it was great to watch them progress in their bowling skills from week to week. It made me proud. And it just touches my heart. Anyway, I'm very thrilled to be here and to see so many of you familiar faces. I moved to Ohio 19 years ago, and I left many friends behind, but never forgotten. I come back and make visits. My brother Danny bowls with the seniors, and I go down and bowl with him, and it's so great to see many of the fellas that when we were young, again, because when you know people when they're young, you never look at them as they're old. And the greatest friendships are created in bowling alleys. There's Frankie, there's Ray, there's Bobby, John. I mentioned everybody. Anthony, and all the names that fly out of your head. When you get to be 82, sometimes you go, huh? What's your name? I know your face. What's your name? And I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. Thank you very much. Surprise.
Cookies.
Panettone. Can't get this out of here.
Come on, straight out.
Straight up. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank Ray, he helped me put it together for me. Hey, Tony wants you to put it on. Tony wants you to put it on. Yeah, take your jacket. Okay. Take your jacket.
Hey, Tony, give me a coat.
I figured you can't carry the plaque around with you, no hide.
Back there someplace, right?
Yeah, it's it.
There we go.
Ray, you only had one
I knew it
sleeve.
had a second sleeve.
Let me see what it says.
Looks great. Beautiful.
This was a gift from the family, and it reads, the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame 2012 inductee. And I just want to, I bowled with Tony back in the day up at Sunset Lanes, way, way back. And
Don't make me too old.
I'm going to try not to. But the only thing I can say about this is, you know, the connections that we make with all the people around here and everything else. The next people we're going to bring up are very close to me and dear to me also. But I'll tell you what, one of the nicest gentlemen I've ever met in my entire life. And I'm happy to call you my friend. Thank you.
Tony, you gotta get your plaque.
Let's go white. Okay, look at this plaque.
Your glasses? These are your glasses here?
Glasses, you got everything going on.
Congratulations, Tony.
Thanks again, Tony Schiaffeletti, Sr. All right, at this time I would like to call up our historian and secretary of the Hall of Fame, Mr. Joseph Labardo. A little bit of round of applause, thank you. All right, this time, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to honor the PSAL and Parochial High School All-Stars at this moment, okay? So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Labargo, and Joe is going to start off with the ladies on the PSAL side.
Okay, first, one thing I want to say, I have known Tony and his family and Danny and that whole family close to 50 years. And I swear to God, I've always called him Syphiletti. It's just that tonight they're telling me it's Choppoletti. But as we've said before, the Advance is no longer doing a dinner for all the All-Stars, so we decided to still honor the bowlers that were named PSAL and Catholic School All-Stars. And so tonight is the first time that it's being done with the Hall of Fame dinner. And our first PSAL Advance All-Star, Ms. Carla Spoto. She finished with the city's best average in the regular season at 202. Three-time All-Star, took third in the borough individuals and third in the city individuals. She also played a role in helping Newdorp win the PSAL championship for the second time in 3 years. Ashley Martinez. Finished with the city's second highest average at 190.3. She then took the PSAL Borough Individuals, which is very prestigious, by 40 pins with a 689 and then 5th in the city. Her 186 playoff average helped New York to win the PSAL championship. Jessica Monachino. Her average increased by 21 pins. Finished third with a 183 average, third in the city. She helped Tottenville to win to the PSAL championship after a 12-0 season, and top seed for the playoffs, was 10th in the Borough Individuals before taking second in the citywide competition. That's it. Okay. On the boys' side, Ryan Van Pelt. He improved his average by 11 pins to finish with his 5th best at 207. Was 17th in the Staten Island Individuals, winning and won the city individual championship. Tim Barkley. Two-time Advance All-Star, finished with the highest average on Staten Island at 210. Led Tottenville to a 12-0 record and top seed in the PSAL playoffs. Finished at 220 in the postseason and finished 5th in PSAL and was in the top 10 in the city individuals. There's a few others I'd like to mention who unfortunately were not able to attend. Lauren Furman, Michael Calabrese, Brian DeLuise, Steve Flynn, and Daniel Iacono. Have a nice round of applause for all these great junior bowlers. Okay, on the parochial school side, Maggie Umana. Senior finished with a 181 average, was the anchor for her team. She had the second high game in the league with 268. And finished 5th in the individuals. Gabrielle DeVito. She had the league's high game at 266 and finished with an average of 191.
Oh, yeah.
She then went on to win the individual title by 59 pins, shooting a 636 series. Kevin Bono. St. Joseph by the Sea was the winner of the Staten Island High School Boys Bowling League. Along with Michael Joyce, he helped the team clinch and was named an All-Star for the first time. Michael Joyce. Second time as an All-Star. Helped St. Joseph by the Sea to win the Staten Island Boys Championship. Let's have a big hand for all of our young bowlers. We're going to hear their names a lot in the future. Unable to attend tonight, Jennifer Calabrese, Jenna Rossnagel, and Chris Castaldo. They would nonetheless deserve the All-Star honor as much as everyone else.
Okay, at this time I would like to introduce our next Hall of Famer, someone who was near and dear to my heart. When I was a young junior bowler, I happened to walk into Columbian Lanes one day just out of the clear blue sky. Had no idea that there was a bowling alley. It was a place in West Brighton that was basically in the basement. I'm sorry, and I think I was going to buy a candy bar or something like that, and I walked in, and I saw this really, really strange bowling alley with poles. It was in a basement, dark, and not much going on, you know, and a couple of kids I knew from school were throwing the ball down the lane, and I just picked up the ball and, you know, wasn't very good at it. So somebody decided to, you know, why don't you go bowl in a junior league? So they had a Saturday morning program down there, only 12 lanes. And the first time I walked in, you know, I was really surprised because this woman came over to me and she, you know, I looked like I guess I was lost. And she says to me, can I help you? And I says, yeah, I guess I want to bowl. So she says, well, you're in the right place. And I mean, I never forgot that because she made me feel like I was wanted. And she spent 19 years of her Saturday. She brought her children down there and they started bowling in the junior program, and she didn't leave. And even though her children graduated from the bowling leagues and went on to other things, Alice Van Pelt was there every Saturday. Never missed, never complained, and she was a warm, loving person. And unfortunately for us, after we made the announcement, Mrs. Van Pelt passed away. Broke my heart and the hearts of her family. And I would like to bring up her daughter Lori and her granddaughter Erica. And they have quite a few good things to say about their mom and their grandmother, and let's have a big round of applause.
story. I'm Alice's daughter. This is her granddaughter, Erica. First, I'd like to thank John Edichico for those wonderful words, very kind. My mother also loved him very much. My mother was very excited and very honored to be getting this award tonight. So along with my brother, my sister-in-law, and her grandchildren, we accept this award for her, and we're gonna put it in a great place for her. Erica, I would like to say something, thank you. This is the letter my mother actually wrote. So this is my mother's own words. When she heard that they were, when Chico let her know about the award and everything like that, she was so excited, so excited. All she could talk about was this award. She just wrote a letter, just, about what she did and whatever. And I just tell you that in the letter, she doesn't even take any credit for anything that she did, because she was just giving credit to everybody else. Okay. In 1965, Officer Jeff Quinn started the Police Athletic League at the Knights of Columbus on Clove Road, a children's bowling league. When my 4 children joined the league, I volunteered a scorekeeper, as many other parents did. As the league grew, we had to split into 3 groups, A, B, and C, all age groups. When Jeff left, Larry McSorley and Gene Hurricane took over. I then became treasurer, collected the weekly dues, and was responsible for the yearly bowling dinners that were held upstairs in the catering hall. The league was later renamed the PAL, Larry McSorley League, in his memory. In 1978, I received a police athletic leave citation. I stayed with the league until 1984. I enjoyed every Saturday morning watching all the children bowl, laughing and making friends. And to this day, my children still talk about all the years at PAL. On top of that, her grandchildren all bowled in the league. My dad ended up doing it. I've bowled since I was little, and I still bowl to this very day. And I bowl on a Monday night league at Country Lanes, and she would check my scores every Tuesday morning. And she would call me up and she would check my scores, and so to this day, she just was really, really excited about this award, and she really would have liked to have been here to accept it. And we just want to thank the board and the committee, and especially Chico, for this award, and we're very thankful and honored to accept it for her. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm back at the house.
All right, before we present the next award, I just want to remind everyone that right now, down at Country Lanes, the New Year's Singles Classic is going on, run by Jimmy Elliott. I think it's the 89th year, Jimmy, for your tournament? All right.
92nd.
92nd, I'm sorry. I stand corrected, 92nd year. And we want to give a big shout out to Country Lanes for hosting that. Also, coming up in March, Donnie Walters' 36th annual Staten Island Bowling Classic is also going to take place. So everybody mark your calendar. We hope you have a big turnout. All right, for the next award, I would like to bring up Donna Zajac, one of our committee members, to present the next award. Donna?
Tony, it looks like a lot, but it's not.
We're young, Donna. We got time.
Okay, it is my privilege and honor to induct into the Hall of Fame Susan Dalton for superior performance. Sue was in high school when she first said yes to one of her friends to go bowling. They went to Maple Lanes in Brooklyn, and started to bowl, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to keep score. She decided to combat one of those problems. So she went to the library, picked up a book, and started to learn how to keep score. She asked the people around them when they had a little snafu with a couple of strikes to help them out. To combat the second problem, they watched the PBA tour with Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton. This is how they learned how to bowl. She would listen carefully to Nelson's tip of the week. That is how she became a spare shooter. And she proudly said to me, "Nelson taught me how to make Dullwood." Sue looked at bowling as fun, a sport to meet people and socialize, until she met Harry. And he was a bowling enthusiast, and he got Sue more involved. They bowled together on a Friday night league, and after bowling, 6 couples would open bowl and then go out to eat. So bowling got more serious and also continued socializing. Between Harry and Joe Santini, they saw more in Sue than throwing a backup ball. She was bowling with a conventional grip ball, but pulled her fingers halfway out to make it more like a semi-fingertip. Joe said, "No way," and drilled her a fingertip and taught her how to throw a hook. Sue and 4 of her friends, who just recently moved from Brooklyn to Staten Island, decided to join a Staten Island league. They joined at Colonial Lanes. All of these ladies were averaging in the 160s at the time, and they did not know that the league was comprised mostly of 110, 120 average bowlers. So they had the league locked up by early April, and the league wouldn't tell her team where and when the bowling dinner was. They kept asking and finally found out third hand from the owner of Colonial that where the bowling dinner was. Needless to say, the team did not go back for the second year. When Sue became pregnant in 1981 with Melissa and could not bowl, she did not return to the game right away in league play. But she went on Sunday morning to watch Harry and then would throw a practice game or 2. Harry was at the lanes all the time. He got to know everyone, including the lady bowlers. And he signed Sue up into the Tuesday night ladies at Sunset. She averaged in the 170s, won the Spare Shooter Award. That league kept track of number of spares and strikes on a percentage basis. At the same time, Murray, who worked at Sunset, saw Sue and got her into the Keglerettes League on Thursday night. At that time, that league was one of the most prestigious ladies' leagues on Staten Island. She did not know anyone, but she ended up on a team with Lynn Detto, Lil Frank, who is in the Hall of Fame, and Betty Colino, also Hall of Fame. She met and made new friends with Lou Vigliotti, also Hall of Fame. And they used to giggle over matching socks and shirts. She met Doris Carcamelis, Hall of Fame, Gloria Simonson, Hall of Fame, Fran Pedrera, Hall of Fame, Colleen Clancy, Hall of Fame. And bowling with these ladies, Sue's confidence and average kept rising and was well into the 180s. She stayed there until Sunset closed and then moved to the Monday Night Ladies Classic at Bowling on the Green. She also bowled in a Victory League with Benny McNevich, Hall of Fame, Chris and Jim Garrity, both in the Hall of Fame. She started bowling in the Swibber tournaments in 1983. Betty Galino, Joan Schoen, and Colleen Clancy on teams, and also bowling doubles with Colleen Clancy for over 20 years. Always cashing, but never winning, until finally in 1995, Sue and Colleen won doubles net and gross, and that same year she won the 9-game gross category for 170 average and over, with an 1827 to 203 average, plus 258 pins handicap for a total of 2,085. Her first 600 was in 1979, and since has had far too many to count. Her first 700 was a 705 in 1997, bowling in the doubles league with Vinnie D'Ambrosio, also Hall of Fame. She has averaged steadily in the 190s for the past decade and was consistently in the 180s for the 2 decades before. She has a high game of 280 with many 279s and 278s. Her highest series was a 741 with multiple 7s in front of that. Sue also had the honor of being asked to be a member of the Bowling on the Green team for the Traveling League, which was a representation of the highest bowlers of the 7 houses on Staten Island to compete in league play on a house rotation schedule. She bowled on the team with George Cotella, Hall of Fame, Lucy Donatuano, Hall of Fame, Steve Stein, Joe Albanese, Hall of Fame, Joe Altieri, Pat Schnurr, and Rusty Richards. Sue also was a member of the New York State Women's Bowling Association championship team in 2002, and add to that the title of New York State Singles Regional 600 Club Champion. Bowling with Steve Stein in the D&Lee Tours League rolled a team high game of 523 and a record at that time of doubles team high series of a 1409. That was 740 for Steve Stein and a 669 for Sue. Sue also told me that she was dubbed the Queen of No Taps. She would go with Bobby Cloak, and they would keep switching partners and bowl 3 or 4 or 5 squads a day. That pesky 10-pin stood in her way. She remembered bowling with Bob Cloak, and he threw a real 300, which of course did not count. Then she remembered bowling with Wayne at Country, and she bowled 3 300s, no tap, and that was the first and only time that she did not bowl any more squads that day. During all of this bowling, Sue met Bob Dalton, a person who knows absolutely nothing about bowling, not interested in knowing anything about bowling, but never stopped her or even slowed her down from her enthusiasm and love of the sport. Which leads me to also inform you that not only did she excel in the sport, but she also was very involved. She enrolled Melissa in the Saturday morning program at Bowling on the Green that Ruth Doctor formed back in the 60s. She worked and got involved with helping to run the program. Lucy Donatuano was a coach, and Sue was interested in doing that also. The course was only given at certain times and in certain locations during the year. In the meantime, she served as secretary of the Staten Island YABA for 6 years. She became a Staten Island Youth Leader Advisor for 2 years and a YABA state delegate for a year. Excuse me. The course became available locally, but it was in Long Island. Sue signed up to become a certified coach. It just so happens that the timing was, well, a little crazy, because she married Bob, went on her honeymoon, came back home from her honeymoon on Friday, and left Saturday morning with Patty DeMeglio to take the course for the rest of the weekend to be able to coach our youth. Bob, I give you a lot of kudos, especially when she told me that also on your first anniversary was Monday Night Bowling. Other noteworthy items of Sue's involvement includes that she was on the board of directors of the Staten Island Women's Bowling Association for 15 years, serving as the treasurer for 4. She is on the 600 Bowling Club Board of Directors for over 10 years. She was a state and national delegate to the women's conventions for 11 years and also served on the New York City USBC Board of Directors for a year. Sue said to me, I have bowled on some same teams and doubles partners with so many Hall of Famers. I never thought I would also be one. Other Hall of Famers that Sue has bowled with that I haven't mentioned already are Bob Gazzone, Donna Van Vorst, Sue Campbell, Loretta O'Connor, Helen Dillon, Linda Preziosa, and Grace Vigliotti, just to name a few. In my mind, with all of this good company, it was just a matter of time before Sue's love of the sport, dedication, and commitment has her recognized to join the ranks as one of the premier bowlers on Staten Island. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to induct Susan Dalton into the 13th Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame for superior performance.
I want to thank the committee for this great honor. When Donna called me and told me about this, I probably laughed for the first 5 minutes and then asked her if there was kind of like no one else that they could find, that they were really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. I never considered myself a superior bowler. I was always that bowler that just filled the frames and just made my marks and did my low 200 average, games, and just kept chugging along. I was very fortunate to have bowled with some great bowlers, many of them Donna mentioned. Most of the times we had a lot of fun, although Bobby, I don't know if you'll agree with me on some of those nights. Vinny, I thank you. You've taken my game to another level. It was with you that I bowled my first 700. And I remember you telling me I shot 695. Bobby Cloak, what can I say, Bob? Many Saturday afternoons we spent together. The people when they knew I married a Bob, they thought it was you and not my husband over there. We spent many Saturdays together. And Sundays too, yes. I bowled with some wonderful people, many of them that are here: Jimmy Garrity, Chris Menza, Garrity, Donna Van Vorst, Vinny, Bobby, so many. I'm sorry if I don't mention you. But there's two people that I would like to thank that I wish were here. My dad, who I spent every Saturday afternoon watching Wide World of Bowling, and my dear friend Loretta, who I wish could have been here to share this with me tonight, and my husband, who has let me bowl, and many a nights I've not been home. He used to babysit for my daughter while I went out bowling. Saturday afternoons and Saturday mornings I used to spend in the bowling alley coaching the kids, and he was always so kind not to say a word and just go. And for a man who really doesn't like the sport, that's a lot. So I want to thank you all, and thank you.
All right, everyone realizes tonight we have a 50-50, and right now I'm going to make last call for the 50-50. I know everyone's kind of excited about that. I think there's $7 or $8 in there. Well, I do need a new suit that really fits. Also, we're going to be calling last call for the 50-50, and also the wonderful gifts that were donated. We have a couple of bowling balls, some couple of shirts, and some nice gift certificates to some pretty good restaurants. The next one who was up for induction, unfortunately, got stuck on the way coming to here tonight. He called my bad phone. I think he still has a old handheld job, but I'm going to mention a fella, Johnny Petraglia, knows him extremely well. Bowled with him way back in the day in Brooklyn. A fellow by the name of Joe Tuzer. I had the privilege to ride around going from city to city with Joe Tuzer probably about 20 years ago. And The only thing I can say is a character above all characters. A consummate professional as far as bowling on the lane goes. But let me just read you some of the stuff that went on with this gentleman. In 1965, he won the Landgraf Memorial Classic, one of the toughest bowling tournaments on the East Coast, bar none. I went up there, the first game I bowled in the tournament, I bowled 122. And I thought I was a little bit of a hot shot. And this guy won the tournament in 1965. In 1970, he was a PBA runner-up to Rookie of the Year. Back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, we had a thing called the Kegler Bowling Club. It was really great action between all the young local Keglers around. Joe was the all-time leader in victories in the Kegler Club. Right now, there's something going on called the Grandmasters Senior Tour. Joe Tusa is the all-time title holder with more than 12 titles on the Senior Tour. And let me just give you a little background. The Grandmasters, which is part of Long Island, and there's another one in New Jersey, run by a fellow by the name of Buzz Goodman. There are probably 15 to 20 retired PBA members bowling. Joe Tusa is the all-time title holder. Twice he was the winner of the Bud Light Classic tourney in the 1980s. He was the Staten Island Singles Classic champion in 1986. He won Jimmy Elliott's tournament in 1984. He has more than 5,300 games to his credit, more than 2,800 series sanctioned. In 1999, he was a senior leading money winner on the high roller tournaments in Las Vegas. And he was also the Senior Player of the Year. So I just want to give a big round of applause to Joe Tusa. Unfortunately, couldn't make it here this evening. All right, next up I would like to bring up Joseph Labargo. And at this time, Frank Wilkinson, will you also step up to the microphone?
Frank, bring a lawyer.
Frankie, I really like your hair. It's looking good
Thank
right now.
you. You're just jealous. Well, no, you got a lot going on here. You're good. Unlike some other people I know. It is my pleasure this evening to bring up Jean Callan. She's going to present the Dom Labargo Memorial Scholarship Awards. As part of our scholarship program at Rabs Country Lanes, we award over $50,000 in scholarships to our student athletes. And the Labargo family stepped up this year with a wonderful fundraiser and honoring some kids for their sportsmanship on the lanes, not just their performance. So Jeannie's going to come up here and tell you a little about them and the scholarship award. So thank you, Jeannie.
I would like to thank the members of the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame for giving us the opportunity to present these scholarships to two deserving students in the name of my father, Dominic Labargo. I would also like to thank Rabs Country Lanes for giving us a venue to play the game we all love. In August of 2012, we held the first annual Dom Labargo Memorial Scholarship fundraiser at Rabs Country Lanes. We had a great turnout of family and friends and raised over $1,200 for the scholarships. This year, the fundraiser will be held on August 25th, and we hope you will all join us. I know my father, as humble as he was, would be so honored knowing that we are raising money to support the sport that meant so much to him. The scholarship winners are receiving the Sportsmanship Award because their coaches feel these individuals displayed good sportsmanship throughout the bowling season. My father loved the sport of bowling, but it wasn't just about the high game or the high series. It was his loyalty and respect for the game and his fellow bowlers. On behalf of my family and Rabs Country Lanes, I would like to present a $500 scholarship to Mia Wilson and Vincent Gio.
When we talked about giving out these scholarship awards, we put a lot of thought into it. And tonight you heard a lot of numbers for high series being thrown and 300 games. And these two young athletes, not that you won't hear their names in any of those high score honors, but these two young people have taught me more about grace in the last year than almost any adult I've ever met. Mia Wilson bowls for me for Curtis. We're in a little rebuilding phase, as we like to call it. And we had gotten off to a decent start, but we had, in the last couple of years, had a tough time against Newdorp High School. And we had a match that was very important to both of us. We're down to the 10th frame, it was a close game. Mia always looking at other athletes and always cheering her team on. She got up in the 10th frame, puts a lot of pressure on herself. That kid got up, first ball in the 10th frame, parents watching, kids watching, other schools were watching. And yeah, she did what every person in this room has ever dreaded doing, and she threw it in the gutter in a close game. Exactly what you guys just did was the exact reaction from both teams. Everybody's heart just sank. And if I could have gotten up on that lane and threw that ball for that kid myself, I would have done it. But she got up on that lane, she made the spare, we won the game. And never in her face, never did she when I think of Grace and I look at that face, that's what I see. She's a graceful loser. She's a graceful winner. She is a wonderful, wonderful child.
We don't use loser.
I thank her.
Non-winner.
Non-winner, okay. You could call it whatever you want, it's still losing. And I thank her parents for doing an awesome job and raising a beautiful child that I hope will be in my center for the rest of her life.
I also have to share a story about Vincent Gio. We all know he's the question boy. Why did I leave this? Why did I leave that? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Well, when Hurricane Sandy came and we just started our drop-off and distribution at Rabs Country Lanes, and it became just chaos. It really did. It was overwhelming at times. Vincent Gio was there every day from day one. What can I do? If we told him to do something, he ran and did it. And he ran back. And what else do you need? And he ran and he came back. And he did that for 3 days. And we complimented, we patted him on the back. And the third day, he collapsed.
Literally.
He really did. He collapsed. He fainted and he fell. Bobby, maybe you came and got him. I don't know. But he ended up going to, he was exhausted. He was dehydrated and he was exhausted for 3 days, nonstop, every day, till he collapsed. That's one hell of a gentleman right there. He still asks a lot of questions and drives us crazy, but we love him just a little bit more right now. Congratulations, Vincent.
You want one of the masks? That's going on Facebook. When's your mask?
All right, in about 2 minutes, we're going to do the 50-50. So final last call for that, the 50-50, and we're also going to do the little, I guess we call it Chinese auction. But I don't want to be remiss, and shame on me, but what happened tonight was I had a list of all the Hall of Famers who were in attendance, and my dog ate it. So what I would like to do right now, everyone who has been inducted to Hall of Fame, please stand up and I will individually recognize everyone here. So everyone who's in the Hall of Fame, please stand up. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're all about. These are the people who support us. These are the people who were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Give them a nice round of applause. I'll go around the room. Roll Quattrochi, Ruby Giuliani, John Zajac. Come on, everyone, let's hear it. Jimmy Garrity, Christine Manzagari, John Red Baronello, Vinnie Trisselli, Frank Corello, Jim Elliott, Jim Episcopi. We call him the Big E because he wears triple XXEX with him. Our new member, Tony Schiaffoletti, Ray Keller, Tony Schiaffoletti Jr., Vinzi Ambrosio III, Bobby Garzone, Ray Lorison, Nazareth Lorison, Jonathan Dorst, Sue Dolan, of course Johnny Petraglia, Joseph Labago. Anybody else I'm missing back there?
Yeah, you're missing yourself and you're missing me.
Well, Don Walters to my left.
And yourself.
And myself, also an inductee. And what happened was, like, quite a few years back, and I'll say it again, you know, I beat the dead horse, but Rab Wilkinson started this back in the day with Donnie Walters was on board, Joey Labago, unfortunately Don Labago, Benny McNevich and all those guys. And I've played every sport there ever was growing up. I played hockey, baseball, football, basketball, soccer. And the thing that makes my heart grow fond about everything else is I'm getting up in years and I can still bowl. I can't do any other sport. Not even 1/10 of how I used to play it.
You can't bowl either.
I can't bowl either.
It's getting ugly over here. It's getting ugly.
But you know what? I enjoy it. And more than anything else, what I want to say is thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone attending this event tonight. Give yourselves a big round of applause, please.